Hey guys, welcome back to Statchat Sports. You're here with Steve and Tazza for our last Premier League podcast of the 2021 and 22 season. Tazza, it's all wrapped up. A few days after the final day, a little bit to process what happened. It was an up and down, a roller coaster of a final day, a very emotional day for us in particular, and any other Liverpool fans out there, we must say. But all the drama that you like from a final day, it had it at both ends of the table. So glad to see the end of it, I suppose. Not the ending we would have hoped for, but look, it was a good season nonetheless for all the teams involved.
Yeah, I know personally, you and I both needed a few days to process it, to calm down, just to deal with the emotions that we went through and the jubilation that we thought was somehow in with a chance, and then for it to cruelly just be snatched. Not that it ever really was in Liverpool's hands, but I mean, they looked the likeliest at one point to probably snatch it. So, yeah, look, it was a great season. That's as a neutral, I'm sure. The clubs of 18 other supporters were loved it. They would have just been. I know I saw a lot of social media saying I couldn't handle being a Liverpool or a City supporter right now. Such was the nervousness that was going around between both supporter camps. But yeah, it's an ending we probably won't see for a little while.
Yeah, it's a good point. It's a final day. We haven't really had a final day like that last time, and I think, particularly from City's point of view, that's probably their best, or one of their best, Premier League title wins since their first in 2012. Just because of the situation that unfolded there, obviously being 2-0 down. And I mean, both sets of supporters from both clubs, had their highs and lows. Obviously, Liverpool supporters had the highs when the game was in the balance at Anfield, and City were 2-0 down, and then it all flipped. It all flipped from there. All of a sudden, City 3-2 up, and their fans are up and about, and Liverpool fans in the stadium, stunned in silence, just about accepting their defeat for the season.
Yeah, it was funny. It wasn't really funny, but just the reception that the crowd was coming up with when they got the news of the goals at the other games. Mm-hmm. It was just ridiculous. And even I think Wolves were celebrating when City went 3-2 up, and then Salah goes and scores the goal, and he thinks he's won the league.
Yeah, there was a bit of fake news around at the point that I think Villa had made it 3-3, and there's fan footage from that corner there that Salah and co were celebrating, and you can see Joel Matip asking the crowd, he said, "What's the score? What's the score?" And they're going 3-2, 3-2, and you just see the disappointment on their face from there, because you're right. The way Salah celebrated, he thought that was the goal that had won in the league.
Yeah, he looked like he was running away, wheeling away, just thinking, "I'm a hero." And yeah, I saw some quotes from Robbo as well, basically saying like it was just awful. Like it was wasn't the worst goal he's ever scored, but just the fact that it really meant nothing at that point. He's the third goal.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, it counted for nil. The league was won. They went into that game. Well, 20 minutes before that, a goal was going to win them the league. And they went and put on two more for no good reason. So it's a tough one, but it's just a testament to the quality of, well, I wouldn't say of the Premier League altogether, but of the two top teams in the league. They're just two of the best teams in the world now, and the league standings, they show it. I mean, there are quite a few good teams in that league, but those two are head and shoulders above the rest.
Credit to City, obviously credit where credit's due. We're not salty fans or anything like that. City obviously showed true characteristics of champions here. I mean, 15 minutes to go, a 2-0 down, and obviously the game's never done. Not if you're City, but to turn it around in literally 5 minutes, to turn it around and win 3-2. I mean, shit, if a team does that, you deserve to win. You deserve to be crowned the champions in that stage. They did everything right. They didn't panic, and really three quality goals. You have to say that it wasn't sort of scrappy. They didn't really ever look flustered at any point. And they got what they probably deserved in the end. So that's just full credit to them. But yeah, you're 100% spot on. You've got loads of quality in the Premier League, but I mean, all you got to do is look at the league from this season. Last season, I feel like was a tough season because of COVID and stuff like that. But probably the last 3 of the last 4 seasons, it's just been City and Liverpool head and shoulders above everybody else. It's a rivalry I don't think is going to ease anytime soon. I'm not surprised. This is now our second 1 point gap between City and Liverpool, which decided the title, and I wouldn't be surprised if we see many more of them, such as the quality of the two teams. So,
yeah, I saw a stat with Sir Alex Ferguson. All his championship-winning sides, they never scored 90 points.
Yeah,
Klopp's done it 4 times and only won 1 title.
Yeah,
and it sucks because no one remembers the runners-up. Yet these runners-up would have won the league
every other season.
Well, yeah, every other season that City had. Basically. So take City out of the equation and it's good enough for the last 20, 30 years, just about. So, yeah, it sucks, but it just shows you what competition the Premier League is currently putting out.
Let's move away from that now. Let's inject a bit more gusto into the chat. Tottenham secured the 4th spot, Champions Leagues for them, with a 5-0 thrashing of Norwich, which was expected. I don't know if you caught any of that. 2 for Heung-min Son, which equaled, which allowed him to equal with Salah, a shared golden boot between the two.
Yeah, I think that's pretty fair. Son's just been unreal this season. And yeah, there were some really good goals in that Tottenham match. They battered Norwich. I mean, I don't think anyone expected any different, but it was pretty comprehensive and not like anyone saw anything else happening. But yeah, it was normal service had resumed for Tottenham beating up the lower teams. But yeah, they fully deserves a golden boot, Son, along with Salah, who just got his goal at the end there, just to give himself a share of the spoils, and also taking home the Playmaker Award as well.
Yeah,
it's a fair season, probably blighted by a bit of a second half, an average showing in the second half of the season, but nonetheless, stats wise, hard to argue.
So, I mean, Arsenal beat Everton 5-1. That was a trouncing, but at the end of the day, that obviously made no difference. But, much like, I suppose, at the top there, Arsenal did their job. Tottenham did their job. Nothing changed there. Based on the last, let's say, month, Tottenham deserved to be there, given their performances. So, and to be perfectly honest, I think Tottenham would probably give a better showing in the Champions League next season over Arsenal anyway. They probably deserve to be there for them. So, that would have been a goal for them. And since Conte's come in, he's done a good job. So it'd be interesting to see how they go next season. Arsenal got to settle for that Europa League, which, at the start of the season, we spoke about it before. They've probably maybe slightly overachieved this season. But given the position they were in, I don't think many fans would be happy with finishing Europa.
No, Tottenham definitely deserve that 4th spot. That attack, I mean, it'd be great to see that in Europe again, I suppose. Son and Kane, after that big run they had in 2018, 19, I think it was. It's when Liverpool won it that year.
Yep.
So it'd be interesting to see with Kulusevski. Was he on loan or was he a buyer?
I think he was on loan with option to buy. I think they bought Bentancur.
Okay, you'd think they'd be exercising that buy option after the way Kulusevski ended the season.
Yeah.
So Yeah, and Betancourt, he's been great this season too,
Mm.
since he's come in. So I mean, exciting for them, really exciting. Be good to see those four and the rest of the squad. It's a good squad.
They won't want to lose Harry Kane,
in
though.
the champion. Sorry.
They won't want to lose Harry Kane next season, though.
Oh, absolutely not. No. Or if they do, then they're screwed.
Yeah.
They're gonna have to hold on to him. I don't know. I think being in the Champions League, it was enough of a draw card for him to stay. Personally,
Yeah.
I think, yeah, he's going to be he's going to be playing in the biggest league in the world, being in the Champions League, and in my opinion, in the domestic league, the Premier League's biggest in the world. City, I'm not sure if this desire is going to be there for City anymore.
No, I wouldn't think so. Not after signing Haaland.
No, exactly. And well, yeah, from both sides, City won't want to do it. Do they need to go and spend another? What I think they paid 70 mil for Haaland. His release clause was. So I mean, Kane's going to fetch that or more. The English premium out on that, it's probably 100. So yeah, I think Tottenham is, now that they're in the Champions League, why would he leave?
At the tail end, we had a fair bit of emotion and action down there as well. We bid farewell to Burnley, third and final relegated side. It feels like they've been in the league for ages. I can't remember the last time when they were not in the league. Didn't do my research, but it would have been a while. Yeah,
it's kind of one of the sad ones a little bit. Like, you get used to seeing those teams there and suddenly dropping, you're like, that was a good time, but catch you later. And it'll be interesting to see. I think Fulham and I can't remember the second.
Bournemouth have come up.
Yeah. Sorry, who was the second one?
Bournemouth.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. So it'll be interesting. Good to see Fulham back.
Bournemouth as well after 2 years away.
Yeah. They had their own fairly decent stay in the top flight, so good to see them back. And I think it's Nottingham Forest in with a shout to get back in. So that'll be interesting to see a historically successful club back in the Premier League and another club that's got more Champions Leagues than City.
Had to throw that little dig in there. Oh dear!
I had to get that in.
Oh, not a bad little dig. Not a bad little dig. It makes us feel. If it makes us feel any better, we'll allow it.
Oh, it's making me feel better, so I got to do
it. Back on course. What did we see? It was a 94th minute winner from Leeds. That goal actually, I mean, even if they hadn't scored that goal, they would have been safe. They would have been safe by a point. But I mean, who doesn't love a winner in the 94th minute from a relegation candidate? So it would have been better to see if it was at Ellen Road, but the away fans still did their job. So Jesse Marsh was on the floor. I think I saw a video of Rafinha walking across the pitch on his knees, something to do with his religion there, thanking God or something.
It's a South American, I think. When God answers your prayers, it's like a way of saying thanks. Apparently, that's what I've read. Yeah, so that was really cool to see. I mean, a lot of those South American guys are quite religious, and to have his prayers answered like that was good. It's good to see.
So we get to see Leeds for another season, which I'm happy about. They obviously had a horrid season. There are a few injury problems in there for them. So good for them to stay up and sort of regroup, get a full preseason under Marsh, and see if they can hold on to a couple of these stars, Rafinha, Calvin Phillips, which we've spoken about before, who attract a lot of attention from elsewhere. So they'll look to obviously hold on to them, but to be honest, I can probably see them both moving on. So it's all about the recruitment that they bring in based off of the sales that they make for those two.
Yeah, and they should receive a fair bit of cash for those two players. So as long as it's invested wisely, I think they'll be good for it.
Mm.
Obviously, you don't want to lose star talent, but being in the lower leagues, in the lower part of the leagues, it happens. It'll be interesting just to see Leeds with a preseason under Marsh going in a different direction, because Bielsa was he was very stubborn in his ways, and it was in the end really what got Leeds United in trouble. They were, when they couldn't score, they were getting battered, and they were just too one-dimensional most of the time. So to see a more pragmatic approach, hopefully from Marsh, will be interesting. And if it's a reinvested squad, even more interesting. So a lot to play out for Leeds coming into next season.
Yeah, we saw some good signs there from Marsh and Leeds when he came in, but you know, at that point that he came in, they were already in a bit of a bad spot. So it was more so just get that survival and regroup and go again next season. So yeah, we'll have to wait and see how they go there. But yeah, Leeds is a side that you feel needs to be in the Premier League. The stature of the club, you know, the rivalry in the league with, like, you know, Manchester United and stuff like that. It's a club that you need in the league. It's a healthy club to be there. It
feels right having him in. With all the seasons they spent out, it wasn't sad, but you know, didn't feel quite right. And so to have him back in there, like you said, the stature, the prestige of Leeds United, a formerly big club, but kind of on the same level as Nottingham Forest when you talk about stature in years gone by. So to have both of them in, hopefully, would be kind of cool. It'd be really good.
Speaking of stature and size of a club avoiding relegation, let's just talk about Everton here for the last time of the season. Our last week's recording, Everton were yet to play their second last game of the season, which was against Crystal Palace, which they did end up winning in dramatic fashion in its own right, in a 3-2 that secured their safety. They made it hard for themselves there, and pure chaos insisted after the third goal, and indeed at the final whistle with the fans on the pitch. I mean, I don't know. This has sort of suddenly come out of nowhere. This whole fan on the pitch situation. It happened again it happened at the Etihad when City won the league. You know, I've seen it multiple other locations happen. It's happened in the Championship as well. It's happening everywhere. I don't know why all of a sudden it's starting to become a thing. I know a lot of players and managers aren't happy with it. We've seen, you know, it get a little bit out of control, and I think there was an attack on. Everyone saw the attack on Patrick Vieira after the game, where he flattened the fan. And I think, I believe Aston Villa's goalkeeper as well had a little bit of a run-in with a fan too. Yeah. So, yeah, it's not a good look that's starting to appear here.
This might be a weird take on it, but in the age of social media and everyone got their phones out and wanting to get a little piece of the action and getting a little bit of notoriety for some shitty reason, doing some crap little thing, I think it's just people, just want to get in people's faces, stir up some trouble. Maybe not everyone's trying to stir up some trouble, but these kind of things lend to that. You get too close, you get people who no one knows how they're going to react around getting close to these stars, or, you know, stars of the game, big time players, and it's just a dangerous mix. And I feel like it used to be a thing back in the day before we're all completely unhinged and crazy. And then it went away, and now it's coming back, and I really don't know why. I mean, power in numbers, I suppose. That's what people have thought. I mean, how are 50 security guards going to stop 40,000 people coming on the field? It's not going to happen.
I had a thought that's literally just popped into my head then as a potential reason. Fans across the world have gone through an entire year of, if not a little bit longer, an entire season plus a bit of not being able to see their favorite team live, you know, every single week. They've not been there to celebrate properly with, you know, a title winning season or a survival or a cup win or something like that. I don't know if it's all bottled up into this season and into this moment. You know, it's City fans obviously didn't get to celebrate their titles last season, I don't think, with the players. So, and you know, stuff like that. It obviously all bottles up, and then it's all just imploded this season. Just literally, I thought that just popped into my head just then.
Yeah, it's definitely a consideration. Yeah, people with lockdowns and all the everything that has gone on with COVID just being cooped up a little bit, finally getting to come out, and maybe the excitement's getting a little bit the better of them. So I definitely think that that's a point. But I know Jurgen Klopp come out and said it's just silly. It's ridiculous. I mean, I think he was more people going onto the field, rah, 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 that's fine. But it was people taking kids onto the field.
Yeah.
That's where he kind of said, what are you doing? Don't put your kids in danger. That's just bloody ridiculous. Go on, get on the field, take a few photos. There's nothing wrong with that. But by letting the people onto the field, there's no way of policing what they do. So yeah, it's something that one bad apple is going to spoil the bunch. I'm not sure if that's the phrase, the turn of phrase, but you know what I mean.
I know what you're trying to say.
Yeah. But it sucks because it is, and especially in like Australian rules football, AFL. It's the same thing. Everyone wants to go on the ground afterwards. Community games, you go down the ground, kick a few goals, and go home. But in a league of that stature, I'm not sure it's the best thing.
Yeah, I agree. I'm not a huge fan of it. I mean, it takes the moment away from the players as well. I feel like as soon as that final whistle went at the Etihad, you get a brief moment, and then the players are ushered off the pitch as quickly as they can to avoid the flood of fans.
They just want to savor it.
You know, yeah.
They just want to soak it in, soak up the atmosphere. I mean, they've just spent 90 plus minutes running their hearts out in a do or die game, basically. And they got to.
The fans can celebrate it the same way in the stands as they would on the pitch. Like the likelihood of, you know, you're the one of 68, 60, 70 odd thousand people, however many people fit in a stand, to become close enough to the point where you can touch Kevin De Bruyne's shirt. You're going to be just cluttered into this ball of people, and it's going to be claustrophobic as anything. You know what I mean? How's that a celebration? You know, just stay in the stands and just enjoy your time, and you know, enjoy watching the players on the pitch and the managers and all that sort of stuff, and have their moment, and you have your moment in the stands and stuff like that. Just keep it the way it has been for forever. You know, it's just creepy too. I mean, they don't want you near them. Just go away. Like, marvel at these guys from afar. I mean, you can be on the sidelines. Not the sidelines, but you know, front row if you can get there. But that's why you pay the money. You pay good money to sit front row. You don't get on the field afterwards. If you did, I mean, why would you be paying premium dollars for front row if you can go and touch the player afterwards? It's gross. Yeah, it's a crazy one, and I mean, I don't know how you police it to stop it, because you can't. I don't know if you can. Exactly, you can't. It's not like you can give everyone on the field a fine. I don't know how you're going to manage to do that. So, yeah, I'm not too sure how that gets sort of sorted or anything like that.
The only thing is you do, like, you build a fence around the park. No one's going to do that because it takes away from the product.
Yeah. So,
a physical barrier is literally the only way you do it.
Let's talk about our awards just quickly. Well, I suppose not ours. We mentioned obviously the joint golden boot between Salah and Son. Salah picked up the Playmakers Award, a shared Golden Glove award as well between Alisson and Ederson, both on 20 on the final day. Of course, neither kept a clean sheet there, so they had to share the spoils. Again, I don't think that's the first time those two have shared that award. So they're
probably
the
won't
best
be the
two
last
goalkeepers. Yeah, no, that's right. I mean,
Mm.
they're probably the best two keepers in the league for me.
Yeah.
They fully deserve that. De Bruyne, Player of the Year, we saw that coming. Not surprised
Yeah.
there.
I'm not sure if you saw that. Did you see the third goal
Yeah,
for City?
yeah,
Yeah, that's why.
yeah. That's right. Yeah,
That for me, I was just like, yeah, okay, yeah. Not that I mean, it was our consensus agreement that he would get it,
Mm.
but it just further outlined what we already saw and why he deserved that award. It was, yeah, I mean, I think everyone in that stadium thought he'd have a ping when that ball spat out to him,
Mm.
but the composure just to take a few touches, put that ball across, and then hit up Gundogan. It was, I'm not going to say a thing of beauty because I didn't enjoy it, but it was quite easy on the eye.
Yeah, we'll say that.
Yeah.
Phil Foden, Young Player of the Year. I mean, he wasn't our pick, but I'm not surprised, to be honest. I'm really not. Yeah, I'm not necessarily saying he doesn't deserve it, but I do think that somebody else probably should have got it. There's especially Saka. I'll name Saka because that's who we had. He had more goals, more assists for a worse team. Let's be honest. Phil Foden obviously has a league medal around his neck. I don't know if that helps to play any part, but for me, between the two, I would have gone Saka.
Yeah, I mean, I mentioned Foden as a special mention, but yeah, I'm not sure for a team like City that scores the way they do, his output should be more. And considering what Saka did in that Arsenal team, how does he not get it? I mean, there's been a few conspiracy theories bandied around as to why he didn't get it and rah rah rah. I don't think we need to listen to them. They're both good players in their own right, but yeah, I don't think the right man won, but both good young players.
This one might cause a discussion. Jurgen Klopp, Premier League Manager of the Year. Agree or disagree?
Was that Premier League or was it the LMA Manager of the Year? Voted as, I think it was, if it's the LMA, I think it's voted as all 92 English clubs. So if you take into account that it's voted through the whole of the English top flight, English football league, basically.
I'm not too sure
for the cups.
Yeah, I don't know because I'm looking at it here and it's from the official Premier League Twitter page. Your Barclays Footy Manager of the season, Jurgen Klopp.
Okay, yeah. I mean, if it is the award that I'm thinking of, it was voted by the managers of all the clubs, and so if it encompasses the club competitions, I mean, they've done a domestic cup double, so and missed out in the league by a point. So overall, I think as much as that league trophy would have been nice, it's still you 1 point off. Take the other trophies, still a very good performance.
Yeah. Oh, because he's done a good job. I just, what confuses me is that if it is a Premier League Manager of the Month award, it can't really seem to go any further than Pep for me. Obviously, he won it. I know we both picked Eddie Howe as our Manager of the Year. Would have loved to see him get it, but that was never going to happen. Let's be honest; it was going to be between the two. And I just don't see how you can't give it to the manager that won the league in the end of it.
Yeah, I suppose you got to look at the criteria and what it's being judged on. If it's purely the Premier League, then I agree. Yeah. I mean, how do you not give it to the guy who wins? Or, I mean, in other circumstances, if you give it to someone who's taken a bottom half team to the Champions League, that's reason enough. But we didn't see anything of that level, so I think it goes to the winner.
I want to end it off with just a little bit of extra. This is sort of outside the Premier League, but I feel like it's an important topic for us to discuss. And it's the Kylian Mbappe deal. He ended up obviously re-signing for PSG. The deal is ludicrous. I mean, it's something like a 300 million euro signing fee. He earns 100 million a year after tax. And look, just the perks that come with it. Who in their right mind is giving a player that kind of power? Now, I'm sure everyone is aware of it, but just in case you're not, he's basically got the decision of a sporting director at the PSG. He has the say on, or has a say, should I say, on the new manager to come in because Pochettino is expected to go, and he has a say on signings inbound and outbound. That's embarrassing for me.
There is no more pressured sportsman in the world right now, and he wins that by a mile. He's 23, is he 22, 23? You do not put that much pressure on someone that young.
You can't, if you're PSG, you can't be that desperate to keep him at your club. Like, this is what I mean.
No one is worth that.
No.
Leo Messi at his peak wasn't worth that. It's not worth. No one ever will be, or ever has been, worth that much to a club. To basically sacrifice everything and just put all the control in one person's hands like that.
And a player, let alone. This isn't someone, this isn't a sporting, this isn't an upper hierarchy of the club. This is a player in his prime at 22 or 23 years of age having this kind of power.
No, it's just disaster waiting to happen for me. What if there's a down tick in form? I mean, let's be honest, it's Mbappe. He's a great player, but I mean, he's not a robot. He's not going to bang in 30 goals and assist 30 goals a year, every year. Maybe he will, but there's going to be bad patches of form, and I think it's going to be created by all this pressure. I mean, no one man should have that much control of that much money as well. I mean, I hate it. It's a horrible deal. It just shows how broken football at the upper echelons of the game is becoming for me. It's a bad day for world football.
Money talks. I mean, he's worked the two teams. He's wrapped them around his finger, really. Well, yeah. I mean, he's essentially used Real Madrid and their offers to gain himself a better and bigger offer at PSG. I mean, I don't think in a million years he was expecting to be basically given the manager's position at the same time. But I mean, heck, if you're putting it on the table, plus the money he's getting, he's going to take it. He did what he needed to do to get the deal. So,
I mean, the man's going to get paid. So, but from his end, he's loving it. But why would you want to go and be a manager there when your striker's calling the shots?
Yeah.
What professional walks into that organization and says, this is a well-run club, when the president just gave the striker all the power? It's just poison for me, that whole operation. Who in which respectable manager or any sporting anyone walking into that club, it just makes it a bit of a joke for me.
I think this causes a bit of issues in the dressing room as well, because if I was a player at PSG and I see that deal come through, I'm pissed. Take the money out of it, because players get paid ridiculous amounts of money, and we see obviously better players get paid better. That it is what it is. But yeah, if I'm seeing him, get this kind of power in terms of running the club as a player, if you have a bad relationship with Mbappe, see you later, you're gone.
Yeah, you're gone.
Catch you later. Yeah. It's just it just does not make any sense to me.
It brings me back to, there's no I in team, but literally he is the team now. So there is an I in team, and that is absolutely, I keep saying it's a recipe for disaster. It's going to blow up in their face one way or another, financially or the chemistry in that team. It's just going to be so off. I hate it, and I mean, Real Madrid have a right to feel aggrieved here. I think.
Oh yeah,
because he has led them on, and there's been multiple statements issued from Madrid and the Liga themselves, or even have gotten involved. It's become quite a process, and yeah, it's just a crap situation.
Tazza, we're going to run out of time, so we'll close off the podcast here for the season. We will have one more podcast covering the Champions League final, which is played this Saturday night Australian time. So you will see us one more time, but in terms of the Premier League, that's it for this season. Bit of a big break, unfortunately, coming to us here, but we'll be back when the transfer window kicks up a little bit, and of course leading up to the next season. So for all the listeners, we appreciate you coming along with the journey. Obviously, we came in about halfway through the season, but we appreciate any and all support that we've gotten, and hopefully next season we can come back with a bang and tackle this one head on. So Tazza, it's been a pleasure doing these with you every week, mate. So cheers to you, and we'll see you all next week for the Champions League. Otherwise, we'll see you next season.